Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Musings by Nikki. Today we are going to make this little tiny mini book for my Storybook Woods. I'm making this for my Storybook Woods journal, and you'll understand when we get closer to the end of this why I wanted a mini book. But I want this for in one of the versions of this journal that I'm making. This is my mock-up version, so it's not, you know, I haven't inked the edges or anything like that, and it's just kind of rough, and I haven't glued everything down. But this is the size. So super cute, right? Oh my gosh. I know that Nick the Booksmith has done some mini books as well, which I thought were adorable. And I wanted to put a little mini journal kind of into one of my versions of Storybook Woods. So I was going to initially put this in my Etsy shop, and then I thought, you know what, I don't know if I'm going to make more of these or not, or if I do later on, that's fine, I'll put them in there. But this is going to be a freebie, so by the time this video goes live, this kit will be downloadable from my Facebook page, which will be linked in the description box below. So there you go. You're welcome. Have fun with it, and I hope you go download it and try making one of these. So I'm going to make this quick video. You can see here, I don't know if you can see around. Nope, you can't. You can only see that. I am going to make another video right after this one where I'm going to start making some clusters and collaging and stuff for the books as well. But I thought I'd pop on and do this really quick with you. So you're going to get you're going to get three. There's going to be 3 pages that you download. This is the first one. This is the cover. So these 2 pieces form the cover. This is the binding piece. And then these are the front and back end papers. Here are some instructions. I don't know if these are going to, like, if you read these and you went, oh, I totally can do it now, because it's kind of complicated what I came up with in my head. It was not as complicated, but whatever. That's why I'm making a video, so I can show you, right? And then these are the pages. These are pictures from, these are public domain from Midsummer Night's Dream, and they are absolutely stunning images, and they're very fairy tale book to me. And then I made little writing pages, so you legit could use this as a little journal, right? Like, you could literally write little notes in there. And then on the back, so this is the 3rd page that you'll get, is this page, and it says to print this page on the back of the images page. So this is the images page. It says mini book images page. Be sure to feed it in the same direction as the first page to line up the sections. So on my printer, and I don't know if this is every single printer, but I know on mine that if the printer spits it out like this, right, with this first, then when I put it back in, if you don't have a fancy printer that prints both sides at the same time, which my color printer, it doesn't do that, then I take it off, and when I put it into the tray, I have to put it face up like this, because it'll suck it in and print it back like this. And if this is what came out first, then I want this to come out first, so I need to turn it, because look, boom, this will come out first then. So again, in my printer, if it comes out like this, oh, it's all printed, then I have to take it and pull the drawer open, put it back in. I need to leave this side up, but I need to turn it like this, so as it sucks it in and prints it out, this side will come out first, which needs to line up, the wording needs to line up. All right. Again, that might be useless information to you because your printer might be totally different. I use an HP Envy color printer, inkjet printer. So, okay, so here are your pieces. I'm not going to cut these apart on camera because that would just be super boring. So, boom, I have it done. All right, let's set this over here. So I have all the pieces. Here's all the little pieces. I have cut them. Let's see. I should lay these out a little bit here. I have cut them. I have inked them. and I glued one bit together, which oops, I didn't mean to do that, but I can explain it to you. Okay, so these are the images, pages, right? So when you print them, then on the back side they have like a you know, a nice finish as well. And on the back side of that, there are 3 different, you know, so there's a little variation. That was the thought behind that. So here are your images. Now you'll notice that some of them I've folded this way and some of them I've folded this way. That's just to vary how they, you know, so you don't have just image line, and then 2 coffee stain pages together. So I've put them like that. Then you get these 2 that have the end paper, this right here, right? That's the end paper. What I forgot about was that this edge, this part will be free. So I've just kind of extra inked on it, but that's okay. That is okay. Then this is the cover. So you get, let me show you again on this. You get the cover piece, and then you get this liner piece. These 2 glue together, so it says glue cover and end paper back to back to make a strong cover and fold on the score marks. So I have glued this piece to this piece, and then there are 2 score marks on there, and I have folded it on those. So now I've got my cover, and it's nice and thick because it's 2 pieces glued together. We're also going to glue some extra stuff to it, so it's going to get good and sturdy, right? It's going to be a very sturdy thing. Also, I printed all of mine on cardstock, on ivory cardstock. I would recommend that. I don't know how this would work if you did regular paper in there. It might work, but for the sake of sturdiness and just kind of actual usability, I would recommend cardstock. Oh my gosh, you guys, my brain. So then this is I'm calling this the binding piece. So you cut this out, and this is very much based on like how I bind my books when I do hollow back binding or a hidden spine or hidden binding. This is how I do it. It's just a little mini version kind of, but we're not going to do any sewing, so you're not going to sew signatures in, which is kind of nice. And it's got 2 score marks too, so I have folded it on the score marks. This fits inside here like so. You see that? And then when you fold it shut, that's where our binding is going to be. So let me show you how to bind this. I am just using embroidery floss. So I picked this like light pink color. I don't know why, because I reached down in my embroidery floss and this is the first one I got. You're going to want a fairly long piece. I am pulling out probably an inordinate amount of floss. I don't know, but it's going to have to wind around several times. So now you want to put your book pages in order. You can try to make them go in a certain order if you want to. The images, you know, it doesn't matter. Just make sure they're all upright, the right direction. And then you want to fold them and put them back to back like this, not stack them inside each other like this, like you would with a regular signature. We're not doing that. We're going next to each other like this. Okay, so you're going to end up with just like a stack of them is kind of what we're going for here. So I'm going to make sure all my images are the right way, because that was one of the problems in the first one. In my little one over there, I put 2 of the images upside down. It was a mess. Okay, so now I have my not really signature. They're kind of all their individual signatures, right? So I've got this stack of them. You should have 6. So the folded edge is going to go on the back of this, right? So that's going to be our signature minus these two end pages. Don't put the ones with the end paper, don't put them in. Put them aside. Don't use them in this step. All right, now we're going to take our embroidery floss and leave yourself a good little tail, and that's going to go through the first one of these. So now this is kind of tricky. It's kind of gonna feel really awkward, but you can do it, guys. You can do it. You are smart, creative, adept people. And if I have all this like craziness in my hands right now and I can do it, you can do it too. So anyway, leave yourself a tail down at the bottom. You can leave it at the top, which I did with this one, but I don't like it at the top. I usually have my binding threads hanging out the bottom. I just wasn't thinking. So we're gonna leave that down the bottom. And then here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wind it around the back side of the binding paper. And don't worry if it's not all lined up in this step. Trust me, we can fix that. Then you're going to open your next page. So we went through this one. Now we're going to open this one and go through it and around the back. Then we're going to open our next page and go through it and around the back. And then we're going to go through the next one. And we're not going in between them. We're only going through the ones that are folded, through the fold part. Skip that one and go through the folded part. Okay, so now you'd end up with something that looks like this. A whole bunch of wraps through. See how it goes through each folded page? Like that. Now, mine is kind of loosey-goosey here, so we're going to have to tighten it up a bit. The last one, because it was with waxed linen, it did not like to tighten up very well. So what I'm going to do is, whoops. Oh, goodness, guys. What did I just do? Oh! That's okay. For those of you who needed to see that step again, I'll indulge you. I mean, I totally did that on purpose so I could show you again, right? Oh. You know how, like, make sure they're all right. You know how sometimes when you turn on the camera, all of a sudden nothing works right because you're trying to explain it and doing it at the same time? Yep. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. I'm going to. So, I put that through my first folded one. Now I'm going to open my next folded one and go through. I'm going to try and do it a little bit tighter this time. Yep, and that might happen too, which happened to me the first time, which is fine. As long as you make sure that you can add them in one at a time, if this is better for you. See, maybe there's a reason I have to show this to you again. In between wraps, I'm kind of holding the back string down with my finger there. Okay. So that's that. That worked. I was able to get that a lot tighter this time. So I don't think I need to tighten it up because it's pretty tight, right? So now I'm going to, yep, I cut off way too much thread. But you'd rather have more thread than you need than not enough, right? So now I'm going to take and tie this bottom tail that we left hanging out and this last piece. We're going to tie those two together down here at the bottom of the signature. Now, with this step, you want to make sure that you get your knot on the bottom part here and not the back part here. So you could end up tying it so that, let me see if there's an angle that I can show you this. It's not gonna, see if my knot is on the bottom. It's not back on this side, because otherwise it's gonna glue in funny. So you want your knot to kind of sit on the bottom of your signature, if that makes any sense. So just tie a good strong double knot. I'm going to tie one more because there we go. And then I'm going to trim my threads. I want to have a little bit hanging out, so then these go in my scrap bin. Okay, so now we have our signature. So here's our binding paper, right? Now in between each one, now in between these two, nothing, because that's where they're back to back, but then there's the thread again. Nothing, back to back, thread again. Nothing, thread again, nothing, thread again, nothing, thread again. Back. And this is what my, oops. This is what the back of it looks like. So a bunch of wraps, 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 and then this crisscrosses over here to the beginning, and my knot sits on the bottom of the signature, not the back side. Okay. Now, look how cute that sits in our little cover. Oh, guys, it's so cute. Okay, so now the next step we're going to do is to glue this back side into the back here. For this step, I'm going to use my 3-in-1 because it is good. It has really good grab. It grabs fairly quickly, and it just works. It's probably my best glue that I have for this step. I'm going to go ahead and put a decent layer of glue back here. You don't want to go all the way to the edges because your binding paper is like, you know, a couple of millimeters shy of the book cover itself. So I'm going to put a decent layer because I want it to grab all my threads and really set this in there. Now I'm going to take that, I've got a decent layer of glue, see that? I'm going to set this in. I can't talk too much right now and show you because this glue dries so fast. So I'm going to push it in there, make sure that it's centered on the back, and make sure that it is about even, right? Make sure it's about even. Okay, now I'm just going to take my, not my covers, but my signature, and just kind of press it. I'm pressing down, and I'm pressing it down so it really adheres in there as well as possible. Let's recap that. Okay, so now it'll take a few minutes to dry thoroughly, but that thick layer in there ensures that it's going to have a good grab on all those threads, and that's what kind of secures this from slipping out or anything, because now your threads are actually like bound and glued into the book. So look at that. It actually looks like, you know, old-fashioned books that you get that have been bound, hand bound, and they have like the little binding threads and stuff. There we go. And now see, because my knot sits on the bottom here, like down here, and of course my camera won't focus in this, but because my knot sits on the bottom, it's not impeding its ability to be glued to the book. Okay. And because these are cardstock, look at, they flip and they sit really nicely like this, right? So if you wanted to have this sitting out on your desk or something, it just looks so cute. Okay, let's finish it up. So now we've got these last two, and these are the end paper and an image. And in the front, now in the front and the back, we have this little part of the binding paper that is still loose because we didn't glue this down, we only glued the back, right? So we've got it here too. So now we're going to glue this to the back. And for that, I'm going to just use my art glitter glue because it has a much finer tip and it works better for this little fussy work. So I'm going to put glue, whoops, see, I'm doing this too fast. I didn't give my little binding area enough time to stick down, but this will help. This will help give it more hold. I'm just putting glue on the flap right now. And then I'm going to push this down with my fingers and adhere this to the cover, like so. Okay, now I'm going to do, so I've got that, and that's glued down now. I'm going to do the same on the back side. I'm going to put some glue on the flap. Apparently I'm going to put some on the back of that book page as well. Right there. Didn't mean it to go there. Alright, and then I'm going to push this down and glue that back flap on. So now our binding procedure is complete. Okay, these flaps are glued down, so that means our binding layer is completely adhered to the cover. So these pages are in there for good. Okay. Next and last step is to put the two end papers in. So the one that has the end paper on this side is the one that goes in the front, and the one that has the end paper on the right is the one that goes in the back. Right, so they match up here. Now this is where you could get a little bit fancy if you wanted to. I'm not going to today, but you could, since, let's see, so since we're going to leave this page free and we're only going to glue this page down, you could see how it's a little bit smaller than the cover. You could slice it down a little bit and ink it and then leave it as a pocket, side loading pocket, and just glue around the edges like this. At this point, you'd have, if you put it through your sewing machine, it'd be kind of difficult to get up to the edges and stuff, plus it's pretty thick. So you could do some glue and make a side loading pocket. We're not going to do that, or a top loading pocket. We're not going to do that today. We're just going to glue it down the way that I had kind of intended it to be. So we're going to only glue this side to here. We're going to leave this free and it creates another page. That's where I was saying, whoops, I forgot to put a background on there. Doesn't matter. If you wanted to, you could print the page with the covers and everything onto that background page too. I just don't know if it would line up, so you might get a weird thing, but, or you could print it on just some coffee stained paper if you have some of that in your printables library. So we're going to take our end paper. This is where the page we're working on the front. We've glued our binding layer down, and we're going to glue this to the binding layer and the cover. We don't want to put any glue on this side. Okay, so we're going to glue on this side, not on the image side. So I'm going to hold the image side in my hand because I would just be the one to put the glue all over the wrong side, especially since the camera's on. We're not trying to do that. So I'm trying to get right up to the edges so this adheres really well. And then I'm just putting glue all over. I'm getting it up to the crease as much as I can, but not over onto the other page at all. So now you're going to want to put this right down into this crease as much as possible. So I've got it folded and I'm just kind of laying it in there as best I can and going to press it down. Now even at this point, if there's a little gap there, and if you want to, you can try and smooch it backwards a little bit, right? Like that, and seat it in there really well. With traditional end paper, you would glue, you know, this would be glued to the first page as well, I think, but we're not doing that because this is just a tiny little mini book. Okay, so now we've got our first page. and then our signature that we bound in. See that? All right. So this isn't going to line up completely. It's slightly smaller, which is okay. That's why you put this binding, that's why you put the end paper piece on the back side of the cover, also just to strengthen it up. But now you've got like 3 layers, at some point 4 layers, so the cover is really nice and sturdy. And then we're going to do the same on the backs of the signature. So the image goes on this signature side, and this end paper goes on the end paper side. So I'm going to hold that because I know I don't want to put glue on that side. So far we're doing pretty good, except for that signature popping out mishap earlier. All right. Okay. Now, again, I've got my glue on that side. I'm gonna fold it in half, and I'm gonna try and just kind of seat it in there as best I can, and then press it down. Also, I'm trying to, you know, line it up with the signature as well, so it's not too high or too low. So it just aligns. I need one of those little glue dangly things that everybody has for their art glitter glue pin, because man, I've been looking for that for a while. Sometimes I've spent a good 20 minutes looking for the pin, because 1, you need it because it's stainless steel and you can't just put any pin in there, and 2, because if you step on it, ouch. Someone just had a funny meme on Tracy's Facebook group about losing a pin on the floor. Anyhow, okay, so there we go. That is good and pressed in there. So we've completed our mini book, guys. So we've got our front page, and then we've got all our pages bound in between, plus these gorgeous images in between, bound in between, bound in between, bound, and not bound there because that's our loose part of the end paper. So there you go. Now you excuse me, you might want to do a little squeezing on this once it's all the way dry. Just kind of squeeze along the edges to make sure that it's got a nice fold to it. You could put some sort of closure on here if you want to. You could leave the strings long if you wanted to, and try to put little tiny beads or something on there. I mean, you could really like make this a junk journal if you really wanted to, a tiny little thing. But mine's just gonna stay like this for now. Who knows? I might do something to it later. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you though. Hold on a sec. Hold on, guys. I'm just up here grabbing some things. No. Yes. Okay. This is just some Artist Loft from Michael's Old Gold acrylic paint, and I am going to, I'm gonna get, let me grab a, all right, I'm going to put a little bit out on this paper, because what we're going to do is like faux gild the edges of the book, because it's a fairy tale, right? So I'm going to squeeze them together like this. I'm simply going to use my finger to rub on some gold to the edges of the signature. Now I'm going to let it go open a little bit and make sure I get every little edge here. You can do this to your regular journals too. So when you squeeze it together, now I don't know if it'll pick up on camera. Kinda, can you see? kinda. I'm going to do the same thing to the top. This paint has just a slight bit of glitter in it too, so when it dries it'll catch the light really nice. Oh yeah, see right there? Yeah, cool, huh? Okay, so I'm going to open it up. Make sure you're not like painting your pages together. That would be not good after you did all this work to get this cool, achieve this cool look. And then I'm going to do the same on the bottom. Okay, and then open it up and make sure I get all the edges. And this dries, I mean, when you're putting it on with your finger like this in these tiny little layers, it dries really quick. And since it's acrylic, it just washes right off your fingers, which is nice. And then I'm going to go around the edges of the cover as well. So I've already inked them, which you probably want to do anyway because it just gives it that nice finish, but then this gives it a nice little finish right on the edges. And it makes it more fairy tale-ish, you know, more whimsical, which is what we're going for in this book series. Whimsical. Now you could go on and decorate the pages of this like you would a junk journal, right? You could go ahead and do that. You could take your brush and go around this little frame with some of the gold. Or you could do some, you could do some glossy accents around that frame. As a matter of fact, I might do that just to make it stand out a little, right? And I mean, you see how little of this I used. I put a blob on there, and there's still a good blob left. So now, I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, see how it catches the light there? Yeah, now it looks like storybookish, right? And it just does that right around the edges, which makes it just kind of extra whimsy. So there you go, guys. That's how you do this. I hope you go download it from my Facebook page and give it a try. And you know, do whatever you want to it. Let me see it if you do it. Post it. You know, you can always make posts back to my Facebook page, because I love seeing what you guys do with my kits and with my ideas and stuff. You usually take them and run with them and make them awesome, more awesomer than I've even done. So you can always post back to there, or if you post on Instagram, just use the hashtag Musings by Nikki or Musings by Nikki Adigan, and then I can see it on there too. So anyhow, guys, I will be back in my next video with all the goodness that is just like right around the edge of my desk here, and we'll be making some clusters and doing some embellishments for the Storybook Woods journal, and I will see you in that video. Okay guys, thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. Take care. Bye bye. Okay, I know I said I was gone, but I just want to show you that after I turned the video off, I was like, yep, I'm gonna go ahead and put glossy accents on the frame. And then I did that, and I was like, now it wants for some little jewels, it wants for some bling and a little butterfly that is dimensional, so you can see there. So this is a little Tracy Fox butterfly that I fussy cut, and then I put glossy accents. Oh, actually first I drew with my little sparkly pen, which you probably can't pick up under there, but it looks so pretty under the glossy accents. So I put glossy accent around the frame, I put a little jewel and a little jewel, and then I put down a little scrap of paper, some cheesecloth, and then glued just the middle part of the butterfly down. And look how cute that is. It totally brings the front of this to life and makes it more like a little storybook, and it's a little dimensional. Once it's all the way dry, I'll fluff the wings up a little bit more even. So yeah, guys, go ahead and have fun with it and show me what you do with it, because I love seeing your ideas and get super inspired by that as well. So anyway, now I'm for really real gone, for really real until the next video. So have a great morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night, whatever time it is that you're watching this on whatever side of this planet that you live on. And I will see you again very soon. Take care, guys. God bless. Bye-bye.